The world of Final Fantasy VI opens in an age where technology and magic collide. Centuries ago, a devastating conflict known as the War of the Magi nearly ended civilization when humans, empowered by magical beings called Espers, unleashed forces too destructive to control. The survivors swore never to touch magic again, and so magic faded into legend. Now 1,000 years later, a mechanical empire known as the Gestalian Empire has risen, seeking to revive the lost power of magic to dominate the globe. The story begins with a mysterious young woman named Terra. She is forced into service by the Empire, enslaved with a slave crown that robs her of free will. Possessing the strange ability to wield natural magic, a power unseen since the War of the Magi, she is sent alongside 2 Imperial soldiers, Biggs and Wedge, into the frozen town of Narshe. Their mission: to capture a recently discovered Esper encased in ice. As they approach, Terra feels a strange connection to the creature. When she touches it, an explosion of energy erupts. Biggs and Wedge perish, and Terra awakens free from the slave crown, her past shrouded in mystery. In Narshe, Terra is pursued by Imperial forces, but she is saved by Locke, a thief who calls himself a treasure hunter. Locke is a member of the Returners, a resistance group opposing the Empire's tyranny. Together with the people of Narshe, Locke helps Terra escape. They journey to Figaro, a desert kingdom ruled by the charismatic and resourceful King Edgar. Edgar reveals his alliance with the Returners and introduces Terra to the group. It is here that Terra begins to wrestle with her identity and her frightening powers, questioning whether she is human at all. Their travels soon bring them into contact with Sabin, Edgar's estranged brother, a martial artist who lives in the mountains. After an Imperial assault led by the Empire's deranged General Kefka, an unstable, sadistic clown whose cruelty knows no limits, the heroes split up and embark on parallel journeys. Sabin drifts downriver and meets new allies, including Kyan, a loyal knight of Doma who loses his family when Kefka poisons the kingdom's water supply, and Gao, a feral boy from the wilds who joins after Sabin shows him kindness. Meanwhile, Locke travels to South Figaro and protects a young girl named Celes, a former Imperial general who defects after growing disgusted with the Empire's actions. Celes, like Terra, has the ability to use magic, the result of cruel experiments the Empire conducts on humans using the power of Espers. Eventually, the group reunites and Terra confronts her destiny. When the Returners seek the aid of the Espers, Terra transforms uncontrollably into a glowing winged creature and flees in terror. Her transformation confirms that she is half human, half Esper, the child of a union between a human woman and the Esper Maduin. Terra's heritage explains her natural magical ability, but also her feelings of alienation. With the help of her friends, Terra comes to terms with her identity and chooses to fight for humanity. The Returners and their allies journey to the Empire's capital, Vector. There they witness the Empire's vast power, its magitech technology, and its oppression of countless people. Despite the danger, they manage to ally with Emperor Gestal himself, who promises to cease hostilities if they can gain the cooperation of the Espers. Gestal, however, is manipulative and cunning. Terra and her friends travel to the sealed land where the Espers reside, but the mission ends in disaster when Kefka arrives and brutally attacks. The Espers, enraged by the Empire's treachery, unleash a wave of destruction upon the Empire's forces, devastating Vector. In the chaos, Gestal unveils his true goal: to harness the godlike powers of 3 legendary statues known as the Warring Triad. These deities were the source of the original War of the Magi, and Gestal believes their dormant might will allow him to rule the world. Terra and her companions desperately try to stop him, but Kefka, consumed by madness and hunger for power, betrays even his own emperor. In a climactic confrontation at the floating continent where the Warring Triad reside, Kefka seizes control of the statues. Emperor Gestal is cast down and killed by the very servant he trusted. As Kefka manipulates the Triad, he causes a cataclysm. The balance of the world shatters. Continents crack, seas boil, and cities crumble as the land itself is torn apart. The heroes barely escape, but the world they knew is gone. The cataclysm ushers in a new, ruined era, a world drowned in despair and darkness, now under Kefka's terrible rule. The first half of Final Fantasy VI closes here. With the world destroyed and scattered, the Returners separated, and humanity struggling to survive under the shadow of Kefka's newfound godhood, the world has fallen. A year after the cataclysm, the once bright world of balance has become the world of ruin. Oceans swallowed continents, cities lie in rubble, and survivors cling to scraps of life. Above it all towers Kefka, who sees the divine power of the Warring Triad. He no longer rules as emperor or general but as a mad god. From his grotesque fortress, he rains down blasts of pure energy, smiting villages, rebels, or even wanderers who dare to defy him. Fear and despair suffocate the earth. Celes awakens on a small island, tended by Sid, the old scientist who once served the Empire but now regrets his crimes. For a year she has slept in a coma. When she opens her eyes, the world she knows is gone. Depending on whether she nurses Sid back to health or loses him to illness, she sets out driven by love or grief, but her path is the same. She cannot remain. With a patched sail and fragile raft, she braves the sea to search for her scattered friends. The world of ruin holds fragments of hope. Locke wanders in pursuit of forbidden relics, desperate to revive Rachel, the woman he loves who lies preserved in magical stasis. Edgar hides under an alias, waiting for the moment to reclaim Figaro Castle from a band of marauders. Sabin demonstrates his immense strength by holding up the beams of a collapsing home long enough to save a family. Cyan retreats to Doma, drowning in grief for his wife and son until letters of encouragement restore his spirit. Gao roams the veldt, untamed yet eager for companionship when Sabin shows kindness. Setzer the gambler, once so full of bravado, sinks into despair after losing his airship and his beloved Daryl. Yet when he recalls her daring spirit, he recovers her hidden ship and returns to the skies, restoring freedom of movement to the party. Elsewhere, Strago and Relm endure in Thamasa. Mog guards the snowy mines of Narshe, and Umaro, the gentle Yeti, pledges himself to Mog's command. Even the mysterious mimic Gogo, found in a cavern of illusion, joins without question. Piece by piece, Celes rebuilds the returners, not an army but a family forged through survival. Terra's path is the most poignant. In the ruined village of Moblis, she has taken in orphaned children and become their protector. Once afraid she could not love, she now discovers it in its purest form. At first, she refuses to rejoin the fight, believing her role is only to shield the orphans. But when the village is attacked by the monstrous Funbaba, she is forced to awaken her power. The children beg her to go with her friends, and Terra realizes that to protect them, she must protect the world itself. No longer torn between human and Esper, she embraces both sides of her nature, strengthened by love. At last, the reunited returners turn their eyes to Kefka. His power comes from the imbalance of the warring triad, which sustains his godhood. To end his reign, they must storm Kefka's tower, a twisted monument of steel and stone rising above the earth. Within, they face the last nightmares of the Empire, warped Magatech creations, failed experiments, and echoes of Gestal's ambition. At the summit, they confront Kefka himself. No longer the jester who once served the Empire, he ascended into a divine figure of horror and beauty, a fallen angel clothed in radiant light. He no longer seeks dominion but annihilation. Sneering at love, honor, and purpose, he declares life meaningless and destruction the only truth. His laughter, once mocking, now shakes the sky like thunder. Yet the returners refuse to spare. Each speaks their reason for fighting: to honor family, to protect loved ones, to keep promises, to embrace tomorrow. They are not gods, but people who believe life, however fragile, is worth defending. United, they oppose Kefka's nihilism. The final battle is a descent through his twisted forms, each layer embodying chaos, wrath, and false divinity, until the heroes reach Kefka's angelic core. The struggle is immense, but together, they prevail. Kefka's laughter fades, his form dissolves into light, and his reign ends at last. With his death, the Triad's magic collapses. Espers vanish, their age concluded. Terra, too, begins to fade, her half-Esper blood tethered to magic. Yet her human heart anchors her to life. She survives, not as a weapon, but as a woman defined by love. The returners escape Kefka's collapsing tower aboard Setzer's airship. They rise into the sky, carrying with them not despair but hope. The world is scarred but free. As the airship soars above the broken earth, Terra smiles into the wind, alive for the first time. Final Fantasy VI ends not with conquest, but with affirmation. A story of ordinary people who, in the face of ruin, chose to believe life is worth living. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.